Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken. Today, guys, we are here to talk about Demons on 4K from Synapse Films. This is a new release that comes out on August the 13th. I did an unboxing of this already on the channel, and I said in that unboxing, I will watch this and review it, and I am here to talk about all things Demons here today, as promised, because a lot of people said, Ken, you're a fan of Italian horror films and you haven't seen one of the greatest Italian horror films of all time, Demons, directed by Lamberto Bava, produced by Dario Argento. And I'm sorry, guys, I just haven't, but I've seen it now. And that's the important thing, okay? That's the important thing. I've seen it now. So we're going to be talking about all things Demons here today. Now, keep in mind, this comes out on August 13th. The sequel, Demons 2, also comes out standalone 4K edition August 13th. Haven't watched that yet. We're just talking about Demons today. But there is a double pack release that came out back in 2021. So these movies have been out on 4K before. It was a double pack, both films on 4K. They also did a Blu-ray edition as well. The 4K edition, from what I'm seeing, is out of print right now. You can still get it on eBay and also on Amazon, but it's going to cost you like upwards of 70 to 80 bucks if you want to get that double pack. Right now, both this and the sequel are $25.99 to get them individually on 4K. So that's probably at this point your best option to own the Demons films. Now, I have this Arrow video release that I think came out in like 2020 or maybe 2021 as well. I can't quite remember. Now, I bought this before I really knew about like region locked discs and stuff like that. So I never watched these films, even in this release, because I've got the region free player now. But back when I got this, I didn't have a region free player yet. So I just never checked these out, even though I own this like cool double pack edition from Arrow Video that has really cool casing right here, if I can open it up. And I think there's also a golden ticket in here like there is in this release. But it's a really cool release from Arrow Video. Just haven't experienced it, but I did want to show that off. But we are talking about Demons standalone on 4K. Like I said, at this point, this is probably your best option if you want to own this movie on 4K. But we're going to talk about it, guys. Is it worth owning? Is it worth adding to your collection? We're going to talk about the movie, the 4K transfer, special features, audio, do a little unboxing again as well. But before we get into it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We talk about all things physical media here on this channel, Blu-rays, 4Ks, owning the movies that you love, all that stuff there behind me every single day. So if you like that kind of stuff, hit the subscribe button. Also, comment down below, guys, what's your thoughts on Demons? Is this one of your favorite Italian horror films of all time? Let me know in the comment section below. So let's get into my thoughts on this movie. So it was directed by Lamberto Bava, who is Mario Bava's son. It is also produced by Dario Argento. His name is on the cover. Like at this point, like Dario Argento was a juggernaut in Italian horror. Like he had done Suspiria and Tenebrae and Phenomenon, just so many Italian horror films. I'm trying to see when this movie came out because I don't know when it came out off the top of my head. 1985. This actually came out the year I was born, so another 1985 horror film. So I guess he hadn't done Phenomenon yet because that came out in the same year, but he produced this film, but it's also heavily implied by a lot of people that he had a lot to do with the production of this film as well, and kind of helping and assisting Lamberto Bava. And I think Michele Soavi, I don't know exactly how to pronounce his name off the top of my head. He did Cemetery Man. He also did The Church. I think he was also an assistant director on this film is what I saw in the credits when this went off. But so he had a lot of hands in this film. And what I will say right off the top, I really enjoyed this film. Like, this is a very gnarly horror movie. Like, if you like Italian horror films for the gore, like, you get tons of that in this film. And it's also a creature movie. Like, it's a demonic possession film that kind of reminds you of a zombie movie because they're being infected within this theater. And it's just kind of moving around from person to person. And people are infecting each other with scratches, with bites. So it kind of plays like a zombie film, but it's a demon movie because they turn into demons, but it's also an infection movie, if that makes any sense. But the cool thing about this movie, in addition to all the great gore and the practical effects and the creature effects and just the way the demons look, is super cool. It reminds me of Evil Dead a lot. Like the way they make the demons look a lot like the demons in Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. But the cool thing about this movie is it takes place almost entirely within a theater. So you got this group of people that's been gathered together by suspicious means. A guy in like a metal mask like gives them all these golden tickets, which I actually have the golden ticket in here, which is pretty cool, to the Metropole. He gathers them all together, and this girl puts on a mask that's in a lobby. It's a metal mask. It scratches her face, and that basically infects her with the demonic plague that she passes around to everybody in the theater. So you have this claustrophobic feel. Everybody's in the theater. Everybody's getting infected. They're running from each other. They're trying to figure out how to get out. So it's a really cool setting to have a horror film locked inside this theater, because we've had horror films set in the theater before, or had theater scenes like The Blob and Scream 2, but we've never had a horror movie, to my knowledge, it takes place entirely in the theater. That's its setting, which is a really cool setting for a horror film, because they're actually watching another horror film that's kind of playing on the screen. What they're trying to sell with this movie is not only is it a demonic possession, infection type movie, zombie movie, but they're trying to sell that the theater itself is possessed, that the theater itself is supernatural in nature. So you got the movie playing, and some of the scenes that's happening in the actual movie start happening in the theater, like just the ways that people are taken out, the way that they're bitten, the way that they're, killed is kind of happening on screen as well. So it kind of goes back and forth for a little bit, to where you don't know what's like fake and what's reality at some point. So it's really cool the way they cut and direct and edit some of those moments. But really cool movie, though. I really thoroughly enjoyed this film. A lot of great twists and turns. The ending, I didn't see coming. The way that they have the actual people like transition to the demons is very jarring. Like, it just comes out of nowhere. Like, they'll be okay, and then all of a sudden, quick cut, they're demons, and then they just attack. Like, the way they attack is super aggressive, and you have this really cool special effects sequence where the demon's actually exploding out of somebody, and just the look of this demon with all the gore like on it, dripping off of it as it escapes this human body, is just magnificent. Like, incredible practical creature effects that definitely stand the test of time. Like, the makeup in this is really incredible, and some of the shots that they get of the demons with the glowing eyes is super creepy and super gnarly as well. So, and the music here is fantastic. Like, it's a great score, but also they have these like rock tracks, like Billy Idol, I'm pretty sure, is on the soundtrack here. So you have these like, and Italian movies like did this stuff. Like, they would infuse like these rock soundtracks, these heavy metal rock soundtracks that don't feel like they would fit with the kind of movie that this is, but then they just do. It just kind of works together, because Italian horror films are just so like rock and roll. Like, they're so gnarly and wild in their approach to the heavy metal rock tracks. Always fit with these movies. But yeah, really enjoyed Demons a lot. I wouldn't say this is one of my favorites, like my all-time favorite Italian horror films as of right now. Really enjoyed the film, but I wouldn't put it above like some of Dario Argento's great films, or I wouldn't put it above like Zombie from Lucio Fulci or anything like that. But I still think it's a really good, like well-directed, well-done horror film. That's a lot of fun for sure. So that's my thoughts on Demons. Now, getting into the 4K here, guys, this is Synapse Films. Like, even their Blu-rays look 4K. So I knew going into this, watching this 4K, it was going to look fantastic. And Italian horror films in general, guys, just look great on 4K, because they usually put so many great like blood and gore sequences that look fantastic. But with this movie in particular, like all the creature effects, just the colors of the actual theater itself, there's a lot of reds, there's a lot of blues going on. Just looks incredible in 4K with the HDR and the Dolby Vision. This is a native 4K as well, so it kind of takes it back to that original look of the film, the way it was originally intended to look, and it just feels like a film from that time period. You got a good grain structure in there as well. So it looks very filmic. The colors are just, so vibrant with the HDR, and there's so many great colors, but the detail is incredible. Like I said, when that creature like demon like explodes out, you can just see all the stuff dripping off of it. Just the detail, the level of detail is incredible here with all the gore and the creature effects, and just the look of the theater itself in 4K looks absolutely fantastic. So I can't say enough good things about the 4K here. Like, a lot of people have seen this before because it came out with that double pack a few years ago. This is not a new transfer at all. It's exactly the same, but this is my first time watching Demons on 4K, and it looked incredible, looked absolutely fantastic, just like I knew it would, because Synapse just does incredible work. Now, getting into the sound here, you have the English DTS HD Master Audio 2.0, everything sounded great. There's great creature sounds in here that you hear them moaning and groaning and gnarling and snarling, and the soundtrack's fantastic, so you can hear all that extremely well. So no issues with the sound. I'm just listening to this on a soundbar, so I don't have that full setup. So the 2.0 sounded really great. Sounded really great. There's different options as well. I think you have a Italian option and an English option. There's 3 different ways to watch this movie. You can watch the English Italian version, which is basically the Italian cut of the film with English dub, which is the way I watch it. I don't love always watching dub, but I will watch English dub with Italian films because a lot of times they'll have English speaking actors and also Italian speaking actors in there, and sometimes Spanish speaking actors. So because you have so many different languages going on, I just rather watch it in English, because even if you watch it in Italian, you'll still have that like dub look to it because they're dubbing the English speaking people in Italian. So I just listen to it in English. That's how I usually watch most of my Italian films. But you also have the Italian version if you want to listen to it in Italian. And you also have, I think, the English US cut. So you can watch it in English and it's the US cut. I don't know the differences of the US cut, but it is included here, and they're all in 4K. Getting into the special feature, a lot of really good special features with this release. You have a new visual essay by the author and critic Michael Mackenzie, who explores the legendary filmmaker of Dario Argento and his career as a producer. So I watched probably about 10 to 15 minutes of this. It's a pretty lengthy feature, and it's a really good deep dive into Dario Argento as a producer, which he said himself, like, he doesn't love producing. Like, he would rather direct and be the sole vision behind the film, but he had an incredible producing career just because of his name. People wanted him attached to their projects. Like, he was like the John Carpenter or the Steven Spielberg in Italy back in the day. Like, people wanted Dario Argento's name on their film. So that was a really good feature. You also got interviews with longtime Argento collaborator Luigi Cozzi. You got an interview with the person that did the score. So you got tons of great interviews. I think there's an interview with Argento himself in here. So lots of great interviews in here. Lots of great features. They really did it up for this one. Now getting into the packaging. You got this cool new cover right here, which is pretty cool. Like, that's the demon that pops out of her at the end, which is a pretty gnarly image. So I like the artwork here. I don't love it, to be completely honest. Like, the artwork they did for that double pack, like, there's nothing like it. Like, that, I wish I would have got that. I didn't for some reason because I'm an idiot, but I wish I would have got that because it's incredible artwork. I kind of wish that Synapse would have done individual artwork with slip covers for Demons and Demons 2 instead of these kind of more generic covers, I would say. But I get it. Synapse is a smaller company. Maybe they just didn't feel it was worth it to them to do the slip covers and cool new artwork. But I wish there was artwork that was more in line with that double pack, because this is fine, but it honestly looks a little bland for this movie. For everything that's going on in this movie visually, I don't feel like this cover like best represents the actual film itself, except for this one cool scene that's in the movie. But that's the cover right there. Flipping it to the back, you got the special features, you got the synopsis of the film and an image if you want to check that out. Special features right there. You got the specs, and we'll go ahead and open this up, and you got some cool disc art on the 4K. Now, I will say you only get the 4K version in here. You do not get a Blu-ray version, so that's worth noting. You get this golden ticket, which I've showed off. You get the Synapse film catalog right there, and this does have reversible cover art. You flip it around, and it is the original Demons poster, which, to be honest, I would rather see this with the 4K, so I'll probably keep this flipped this way going forward. So pretty cool, artwork on the packaging, but again, I just think that they could have done better, and I wish they would have done a slipcover version, because they do it with the Argento stuff. Like, they released a box set of Tenebrae, and then when they re-released Tenebrae, they gave it a slipcover, but some stuff they don't do that treatment for, and other stuff they do, so I don't really get their rationale. I guess they just don't see Demons or City of the Living Dead as big of a film, as big of films as the Dario Argento movies, so that's probably a reason. But Demons, guys, I will say this is a winner on 4K. If you didn't get that double pack years ago, this is most certainly worth it on 4K. Haven't seen the sequel. From what I've heard, the sequel is fun, but it's not as good as the original. So I think that this is definitely, if you're into Italian horror films, this is a must-own for your collection. I think $25.99 is a very fair price for this release. So thank you all so much for watching this review. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on bell notifications for all future videos, and follow me on all of my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.